So what's up? Welcome back, guys. Today on this episode, I really want to talk about the three things that you need to really make sure that you can build a dream business, right? If you're calling yourself an entrepreneur or you're chasing dreams and you're seeking freedom, you're seeking success, you really need these three things that's going to really change the game when it comes to your business. Number one, the first thing, and I think the really most important thing in business after being in business 11 years, I realized that the core is number one, you got to be passionate about it, right? And I know you hear these cliche things like, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Well, let's be honest, right? Number one, you have to be fired up about what you do. You got to really be joyous. Like, what gets you out of the bed every morning? So many entrepreneurs, they wake up, they sit on the edge of their bed, and they contemplate whether chasing their dreams or not. And so, the first thing that you have to understand is you got to be passionate about it. The reason why is because when you're done having fun with it, you be done with it. And so for me, right, I've always been driven to speaking, right? I've always been fired up with speaking. And so there's problems with, not being fired up about your gift or fired up about your business is only because number one, a lot of people when they're starting businesses, they look at to start something that's trending, right? And so what I mean by that is when people start business, they're looking online, they're looking at social media, they're looking on the gram to see what's out there that's good enough for them to start a business, right? They're looking for something that's easy. So they're not looking at what makes them happy, what gives them joy, what they're fired up about. They're just trying to find what's happening right now. And so when you chase things that's trending, yeah, you're actually comparing yourself to other people and what they're good at. You're comparing your weakness to other people's strengths. So, example, people starting credit repair businesses, people starting real estate, and people starting, Turo and things that's out there, Airbnb, who knows? But the thing is, they may be passionate about cars. They may be passionate about houses and luxury design, and that might not be your interest. And so when you're looking to right start a business, a lot of times you're comparing it against other people's passions, only because you have not yet found your own. And so when you do that, you waste hours and months and maybe even years of doing something you don't like. I've been there before, right? And so, example with me, I'm good at sales. Don't mean I love it. It means that I'm good at it. And the reason why I'm good at sales is because I'm passionate about speaking. So I naturally sell. And so naturally, when I'm in conversations with friends and family and I'm sharing something I'm passionate about, people confuse it as I'm trying to sell them something only because I'm passionate just about speaking. And so, in your case, without comparing what's going on social media, what's going on Instagram, what's going on Facebook, what that made the news, what TikToker is doing this, and what influencer is doing that, I want you to slow down and see what you're actually passionate about. What would you do if you didn't get paid to do it? Matter of fact, what would you do if you only got paid minimum wage to do it? And so I really want you to take that in perspective that passion really creates your purpose, right? And so when you're fired up about it, on days you don't want to do it, the days it's not the perfect day outside, on days you got get off work and it's a long day and you're dealing with kids and you're dealing with life is life, and then the bills are piling up, and whatever the case may be, are you going to push through it? And so if you're not passionate about it, you're going to naturally get burnt out, right? Because it's going to feel like a job, right? So if you're watching this video, listening to this audio right now, and your business feels like a job, it's only because you're not passionate about it. If you're taking steps and you're moving slow towards bringing that goal or that business to life, it's probably because you're not passionate about it, right? And so you're trying to find something outside of you that'll motivate you or inspire you to do the necessary things in your business. And it's not going to work, right? So you don't need to be motivated in your business. You need to be inspired. Inspiration. inspired, right? Inspiration. It has to come in my spirit, right? I got to get fired up about it, not motivation. We know that motivation is like a bath, right? You got to take it every day. It wears off. And so most people are counting on motivation. They need to be motivated to do the business. They need to be motivated to create the logo. They need to be motivated to create the content. They need to be motivated, right, to send out emails and right market their business and do the books and run the operations of their business, guys. And so what you got to get is that, hey, what am I fired up about? What gives me the greatest joy, the gratitude, right? What experiences can I pull from that I can relate to that actually makes me happy, makes me fired up, and things I like to do, right? And we know that LeBron James, right? We know that he likes basketball. His passion was basketball, right? Michael Jordan's passion was basketball, right? When we think about Denzel Washington, one of the best actors, his passion is acting, right? And so he liked to be in front of the camera. He liked to act. And so some of the best well-known people in their crafts that you know, singers, artists, right, musicians, anything it may be, it shows you that they're naturally passionate about it, right? I hear so many success stories about people not eating, right, going 2-3 days not eating because they're locked into the zone when it comes to their craft, their passion, right? You ever work so hard that you forget to eat? Guys, I've done that. I had to take a step back and look up and say, man, I haven't ate today. And that's only because I'm naturally get locked in. You get tunnel vision when you're naturally passionate about something. And so when you're naturally passionate about it, you're literally be growing obsession. And so that's the level you got to get. You can't just want it. You got to be obsessed about it. When it becomes your daily focus, when it becomes the daily thoughts, when it's coming out of your mouth, when it's all you talk about, when it's all you see, when it's all you know, that's when you know you're passionate about it. So right now, if you're listening to this and you feel like, hey, maybe I'm not passionate about what I do, maybe this is not the vehicle that I'm really fired up about it. Guys, you got to really take a look at how you're showing up in your business, because you may be going on a tangent the next few months or maybe even years. So you don't want to waste next 2, 3, 4 years doing something you're truly not passionate about. And so get into a space, right? I want you to remove, right, any circumstances. Forget about the business right now and just figure out what brings you joy. Does it make you laugh? Does it make you excited? Right? Do you get significance from it? See, right, success is about you. Significance is about others. And so what brings enough passion where it impacts other people's lives? And so the biggest flex in the world is how many lives you impact, and it's only going to come through your passion in life, right? And so what's going to be the thing that you do? The cooking? Is it traveling? Is it fashion, right? Is it teaching? Is it coaching, right? Is it mentoring? What is it, that thing that you can literally turn your passion into your profit? And so inside of this first component I want to talk about, your passion has to lead to solving a problem big enough where people are paid for it. Let me say this again. Your passion has to lead into a obsession to solve a problem. I got to use if I'm in business, I got to use my passion to solve other people's problem, but the problem has to be big enough where they pay for it. And so that leads me to point number 2. So number 1, you got to be super fired up. You got to be super passionate about, right, going out there and building and blowing this brand up. You got to lose sleep. If you're not losing sleep at night right now, if you're not, right, reading on it, studying on it, taking notes on it, if you're not seeking wisdom in that industry, in that area, you're not, it doesn't light your fire, if it's not coming out of your mouth, right, I'm pretty sure you're not fired up about it. So that's the first thing that you're going to have if you're going to take a business from idea to reality, to success. And so the second thing that you're going to need if you're going to blow any business up is number 2, it has to provide a great payday. What do I mean by that? You got to become profitable. It got to pay the bills. A lot of times people are starting businesses that don't even pay their bills. or they don't know what product to sell inside of their ecosystem that's going to really provide the most revenue. You don't know your number one money maker. You cannot predict your payday with the products and services you have. And so if you have a product or a service that cannot pay your bills, you are running a nonprofit. Think about it for a second, right? You got to be able to become profitable. You got to sooner or later be able to pay the bills, create a lifestyle, create cash flow, create passive income that not only provides you the freedom to continue to do what you do, but you need that income to scale what you do. So it has to be super profitable, guys. And so I remember early on struggling, trying to figure out what's going to be my core product, right? A lot of times we confuse different products and services that we want to offer or that we may have, but we haven't identified our core revenue generator. And so I've seen an example. People say, oh, I want to start a t-shirt line. Well, okay, let's do the math. Well, each t-shirt, you want to sell them for $20. You know it costs $10 to make. You got to ship it. That may be another $5. You may be paying fees from third parties regarding Shopify's or third-party drop shipping, or you may be doing it yourself, running to the post office, getting, stamps and mailing them off. And by the time you're done with all of that, you may be profitable $2 to $4 off a t-shirt. And so if I'm only selling 10 t-shirts a month, I'm only making what, $40 a month? And so what bills can you pay with $40? And people may say, well, give it a chance, right? Let it grow. It'll blow up. Just give it a shot. And you'll look up 3 months from now, you're now making $45 or $50. And so that business model is not going to work unless, right, you're scaling at a large pace like Walmart. And so Walmart has low products and prices, but they also have thousands of them. So they have distribution centers all around the world to sell these rollback prices. So even though the prices is low, right, they're moving millions of units around the world. And so if you're somebody, right, not really active on social media, don't have a big audience, and you say, hey, I want to start my t-shirt business, and you come out and you sell 4 of them to family, guess what? You're not going to be able to pay the bills, right? Not with $40, right? And so you have to shift your business model, right? It got to be super profitable. Either you got to raise the prices, or that might not just be the vehicle that you need. Now, in that same example, what if you did do a boutique style where you made $1,000 t-shirts like the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton, the Tom Fords, the Chanel? And so what they do, like most boutiques, they sell 10, 15 t-shirts a month, but they may be $1,000 a t-shirt. And so now we're talking $15,000 a month in your t-shirt business when you have the right model, when you understand that you got to get paid. That means everything. Now somebody's going to hear this audio or watch this video and say, well, he's all about the money. Yes, it has to make sense, right? If it makes money, it makes sense. I'm not knocking nobody's hustle, but it has to generate revenue, or you're going to be wasting your time and you're going to be wasting money, and money's going out the window. And so what you got to get, we're not here, right, to fake the funk. We're here to create generational wealth. And so doing something you love but have a non-for-profit does not pay the bills, does not help the family, does not retire your parents, right? Does not afford you the trips, the lifestyles, and things for your children. And so you have to come to a realization that, hey, I'm not making no money. And so I need to change my business model. I might need to change the vehicle. Guys, you got to follow the money, right? It's 21st century. Where's the money at? It's in technology. It's in real estate, right? It's in building a digital brand. Follow the money, guys. Success leaves clues. The money leaves clues. And so you got to find the right vehicle. Find something you're super passionate about. Find out how you can generate revenue, not just regular revenue, but you want to generate some life-changing revenue. Can you scale it, right? I hear a lot of entrepreneurs, startups, they they come up with brands and businesses that they're passionate about, but it does not solve a problem to the world, and so the world is not interested. And so you may want to make sweaters for kittens. And maybe something, you may have a kitten at home, Mr. Bojangles, and you made him a sweater, but not everybody's looking for that type of solution in the marketplace, right? People, I don't have a cat. And so I'm not looking for to pay somebody for a sweater for my Mr. Bojangles cat, right? And so what you got to get is that, yes, you may be passionate about it, but that doesn't mean the world is passionate about it. So you got to get to a space where, hey, number one, I'm passionate about it. Number two, I have to solve a big enough problem where the world will pay for it. That's the big step too. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money that you can make. Let's use it for example, right? We all know doctors, right? Different doctors make different type of incomes. And so if I'm a vet, I work on animals, right? I'm pretty sure there's a certain income, right? If I'm a plastic surgeon and I do nose jobs, or I do face fillers, or I do plastic surgery, that's another income bracket. But what if I'm a heart surgeon, right? What if I'm a heart or brain surgeon where I get paid millions of dollars to operate on life or death surgeries? And so the bigger the problem that you solve, right? The bigger the problem in people in the marketplace, the more money you will make, right, in the marketplace. And so you got to be passionate enough to dive in, become valuable enough to solve those type of problems so that you can get the revenue that's attached to the solutions that you have. And so right now, no matter if you're in service or you're in products, some of us cannot scale enough because we can't raise our prices. Is because we don't have that value to raise our prices. We don't know what problems to solve inside of our industry or the vehicle that we want to get into, right? We don't know how to attack it where we can set our own prices. We don't know how to create our own ecosystems. We don't know how to share our difference in the marketplace. And so that makes it hard for us to generate the revenue we need in our business. And so you got to get to a place right now where it's not just something that you're flirting with, right? This has to be something that pays the bills. No matter if you're a part-time entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur, it has to pay the bills, especially if you're a full-time. Because if you're a full-time entrepreneur, you cannot build a business with a gun to your head. I did that, right? I tried that 11 years ago. Walked right off a job, didn't have no business model together. I had an offer, but I didn't know how to really generate revenue. I didn't know how to create campaigns and scale and market and make people aware of my product. And so you have to get to a space where, hey, I'm 100% clear. This is my offer. I know that there's a huge demand for this type of service or product. And I know if I market it correctly, I can solve enough problems that'll set myself and my family and my friends' lives free, right? Forever, change the game. And so number one, you got to be passionate about it. Number two, you got to know your revenue generator. What's the one thing in your business? What's the one thing in your vehicle that pays you the most? And you need to lock in on that first and then diversify. Apple, right? I believe it's going to be $1 trillion company, just like the Amazons, but Apple is one of the, if not the biggest company in the world, right? Leading in tech, leading in marketing and branding. This company started off, right, with one product. I want you to think about Apple for a second, right? You have an iPhone. You watching this from an iPhone, you listening from an iPhone, right? They start off with an iPhone, but after you get the iPhone, well, what else you got to have? Now you got to get the AirPods, right? Or you got to get the iPad, right? Well, if you exercise, you had to get the iWatch, the Apple Watch. Well, you got to get the MacBook, the desktop, right? The iTunes if you listen to music, right? You got to get the subscriptions. And now if you're a movie watcher, you got Apple TV. But what is the main source of revenue? The iPhone. Guys, I pay $120 a month, right? For my service, of course. But these phones are thousands of dollars, right? Apple releases iPhones that cost literally $1,000 to $2,000 depending on when you get it. And so when you multiply that times millions of people, think about millions of people all around the world spending $1,000 to $2,000 on a cellular device. But then on that cellular device, they're also getting iTunes out of you. They're also getting, all of the Apple products up out of you and that you're paying for every single month. Guys, when I look at my statements, really, I think like 10 of them a month is coming something from Apple. Right. At this point, it's just getting way too ridiculous, right? Look at this statement. I guarantee you have about 5, 6 things coming from Apple. You can be like, what is this? I didn't even know I was paying this, right? And so you got to get to a place in your life where you're providing that much value, that number. You have one strong revenue generator that then opens the door for other revenue generators. Now, the third thing, if you're going to have a business that's going to transcend into, right, a legacy, create generational wealth, number one, you got to be passionate. Number two, it has to generate revenue. Then number three, you got to have a great fulfillment team. What do I mean by fulfillment team? Not just fulfillment, you're happy. I'm talking about actually delivering on whatever your offer is. And so if you fix credit, you need a team that's going to help implement those results for your clients and customers. See, guys, I started off where I was everything in my business, right? I'm the CEO, right? I do the books, I do the marketing, I do the sales, right? I do the fulfillment, I do the everything. I do the social media posts. When you do everything in your business, you're setting yourself up for failure, right? You're going to sooner or later be burnt out. And so what you got to understand is that you need somebody to fulfill on whatever brand promise that you have. You need people solely set aside on your team to deliver those results. And so a lot of times we'll go out there and create all these sales, and then we drop the ball in our customer service. We drop the ball trying to deliver our fulfillments. People don't get results, and then you end up not building a brand that you want to build because nobody's getting results. We're rushing, we're chasing the money, right? We're just chasing the status quo. We want to let everybody know we have a business, but our customers are not happy. And so if you're listening or you're watching this, I want you to understand the number one goal of the business is just to get customers to get customers. How do I get customers to get customers? Well, that's through fulfillment. And so when you start the fulfillment, when you get in the mode of having, right, people and teams inside of your business, just handling your fulfillment, handling your deliverables, it'll take the pressure off of you, and you can focus on the revenue generating activities in your business. Because there's really two things in business you should focus on. That's the marketing and strategic collaborations and partnerships, right? Marketing, your message, getting it out to the masses, right? Building your story, building your brand is number one. Then number two is collaboration and building strong relationships. And so I know people who got great marketing, great branding. They have great income revenue generators, but they have terrible fulfillment. That means they have terrible service when it comes to clients and customers. So understand this. You ever go to a restaurant, you go somewhere and you heard so much about it online. They got the nice lights and they got the great environment and all of this nice stuff. And you go there and the service is terrible. Well, let me tell you something, right? That's having terrible fulfillment. That is the key to success. So if you can have the right fulfillment, you can have the right team set aside to do, right, the SOPs in your business, standard operating procedures, to walk people through their customer journey, walk people through from A to P, getting results in your business, I guarantee is going to be a game changer, right? And so if you focus on these three things, guys, number one, make sure you're super fired up, you're passionate about your business. Number two, make sure you can create your best payday. It generates tons of revenue. It can scale, it can pay the bills and more and provide freedom and give people jobs and be able to, impact people's lives. And then number three, you got to have a team, right? You're only as strong as your team. See, you only go far as not the dream, but your team. And we know that teamwork makes the dream work. And so you need people to play certain roles in your business that you don't have the capacity to play. Maybe you're just a visionary. Maybe you're great at marketing, but you suck at sales. Maybe you're great at books, but you suck at sales, or you don't know how to create the generate the revenue. Well, guys, you have to hire your weakness, and that comes with fulfillment as well. And so when you lock in on these three things, I guarantee you, watch your business transform immediately. And I promise you guys, it'll be game over. So take these three things. Number one, make sure you're passionate about it. Number two, make sure it creates a great payday. And then number three, you have a team that can fulfill all your services. Hope this helps. You guys have an amazing, amazing journey